Everyone, please rise and remain silent for the processional of judges.
Go ahead. The Honorable Donald A. Myers, Jr., the Honorable Jamie R. Grosshans, the Honorable Meredith L. Sasso, the Honorable Alice L. Blackwell, the Honorable Janet C. Thorpe, the Honorable John Marshall Kest, the Honorable Alan S. Apt, the Honorable Lisa T. Munyon, the Honorable Julie H. O'Kane, the Honorable Bob LeBlanc, the Honorable Jennifer M. Harris, the Honorable Patricia A. Doherty, the Honorable Michael Miller, the Honorable Margaret H. Schreiber, the Honorable John E. Jordan, the Honorable Heather L. Higbee, the Honorable Heather Pinder Rodriguez, the Honorable Keith A. Karsten, the Honorable Dan Traver, the Honorable Elaine A. Barber, the Honorable Kevin B. Weiss, the Honorable Patricia L. Strobridge, the Honorable Chad K. Alvaro, the Honorable Jeffrey L. Ashton, the Honorable Tom Young, the Honorable Denise Kim Beamer, the Honorable Richard A. Howard, the Honorable J. Hasbrook Jacobs, the Honorable Wayne Shoemaker, the Honorable Nancy L. Clark, the Honorable Steve Jewett, the Honorable Jeanette Jajuris Bigney, the Honorable Andrew L. Cameron, the Honorable Elizabeth Starr, the Honorable Evelyn Jewett, the Honorable Gisela T. Laurent, the Honorable Eric H. Dubois, the Honorable Carly S. Wish, the Honorable Amy J. Carter, the Honorable Christine E. Arendas, the Honorable Gabrielle N. Sanders, Magistrate Aaron Duncan.
This proceeding is for the investiture of the Honorable Michael S. Kraynick and the Honorable Diego M. Madrigal III as judges of the Circuit Court. Please come to order. The Honorable Donald A. Myers, Jr., Chief Judge, 9th Judicial Circuit Court, presiding. All persons having business before the court, draw near, give attention, and you will be heard. May God save the United States of America, the state of Florida, and this honorable court. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by John Robert Kraynick and Isabel Rose McGuire. If they'll join me on stage. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The invocation will now be given by Michael Adam Sasso. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, everybody. If you don't mind, let's bow our heads for a moment of prayer. May God grant you always a sunbeam to warm you, a moonbeam to charm you, a sheltering angel so nothing can harm you, laughter to cheer you, faithful friends near you, and whenever you pray, heaven to hear you. God, we ask that you grant our judges who are being invested today wisdom. We ask that you protect the state of Florida, that you bless and give our governor, Ron DeSantis, wisdom, and that you bless these proceedings. Amen.
Well, good afternoon. Oh, no. This is a participatory sport. We don't have room for observers on the sidelines today, so let's try again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I want to welcome you to this ceremonial session of the 9th Judicial Circuit Court for the investiture of the Honorable Michael Kraynick and the Honorable Diego Madrigal. Now, as most of you probably know, there are many, many rules of decorum that are enforced here in the courthouse when court is in session. All cell phones must be turned off, completely off, not even in a silent or vibrate mode. Photography and videography are absolutely forbidden. Flash photography is cause for contempt in the courthouse. There are no expressions of agreement or especially disagreement from the gallery out of respect for the solemnity of the proceedings. Today, though, is not your typical court session. This is a ceremonial session, and the rules are relaxed a good bit. So take your cell phones out, turn them on. Please put them in the silent mode, though, please. Photography and videos are encouraged, and trust me, your flash is no match for these LED lights I've got on me here, so feel free. Applause and laughter are encouraged, and we all look forward to the celebration of this ceremonial and celebratory session of court. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all here today for this investiture ceremony, and everybody here is a distinguished and honored guest for this very special occasion. I would at this time, however, like to specially recognize our elected officials that have joined us today. So when I call your name, officials, if you could please stand and remain standing, and we'll hold applause until the end. The Orange County Sheriff, John Mina, who graciously opened our proceedings. Thank you, Sheriff. The clerk of our circuit and county courts of Orange County, Tiffany Moore Russell. Our Osceola County Sheriff, Russ Gibson, in plain clothes. Michael Barber, the chair of the Orange County Soil and Water Conservation District. And also Dana Rutledge with Senator Linda Stewart's office. Thank you all for being here. If I've missed anyone, I apologize, but again, thank you for being here. You know, it is a true honor to be joined by a group like this and to share in this important occasion of investiture. Today's investiture will hold a special meeting, not just for our investees, Judge Kraynick and Judge Madrigal, but it does for me as well. I stepped into this role of Chief Judge just a few weeks before their appointment, and so this investiture is the first of my tenure, and it is my first opportunity to preside over what I really believe to be one of the most memorable and important traditions of the court. The literal definition of an investiture is the formal act of investing a person with an honor or a rank. And today, that literal definition certainly applies. In just a few moments, Judge Kraynick and Judge Madrigal will be formally invested with both the honor and the rank of a circuit court judge in the state of Florida. But despite the accuracy of that definition, it falls woefully short of capturing what is the essence of this ceremony and its importance in the career of a judge. An investiture is a once-in-a-lifetime event, a marker, if you will, of a very significant beginning. It's a ritual that elevates this moment in time to something beyond the simple act of conferring that role. There is a reverence in the oath that is made publicly before the people that mean the most to our new judges. There is a special sacredness in the enrobing, taking on the weight of a simple black robe that carries with it impartiality and fairness. And so these symbols of stepping out of one life, a private life that is defined by advocacy, and stepping into a public life that is defined by service, is rich in meaning and will be remembered for a very long time by these young judges. So let us get about the business of honoring Judge Michael Kraynick and Judge Diego Madrigal today as they take their oaths, don their robes, and step into their new beginnings as judges of the Ninth Circuit. So for our first presentation this afternoon, I'd like to call the Honorable Rick Howard from the Fifth Judicial Circuit. Judge Howard was appointed to the bench in 2010 and currently sits on the executive committee of the Florida Conference of Circuit Judges. He is our 5th District Court of Appeals representative. Please welcome Judge Howard.
As the judge was saying, this was his first time for an investiture, and this is my first time as the 5th District Court of Appeals representative of our circuit in presenting the nameplates for 2 judges. Slight correction on the resume. It was since 2000 that I was appointed to the bench, so slight difference of 10 years. But I've been around for a long time, and I know many of you. I want to bring both of the judges up in just a moment to receive their nameplates, but I want to do this with the recognitions, just like the judge said. This is once. This is once in a lifetime. This is the only time you get this. You may buy other robes in your life. You may buy another gavel in your life, but what you're about to receive now is a once-in-a-lifetime recognition. And I'll just say this, when it is time, I know it may seem forever off that you're going to retire or go to some other place, may this be the last thing that you remove from your office before you surrender it to another judge following you. Let this stay on your desk forever, as long as you enjoy the privilege of being a judge. That having been said, I'd like to invite both of the judges up to receive your nameplates. Judge Madrigal, Judge Kraynick, if you could, to receive your recognition that this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I thank you so much for this honor, and may you wear it forever. Thank you, sirs.
Thank you, Judge Howard. I just couldn't believe that you had been invested as a judge back in 2000. You look far too young. I don't know how that happened. It's my pleasure at this time to introduce Nicholas Primrose, the Deputy General Counsel for the Executive Office of the Governor. Mr. Primrose has served as the Deputy General for 2 Florida governors, starting the position under former Governor Rick Scott, and now serving as the legal advisor to Governor Ron DeSantis. If you would, please welcome him.
Well, since we've done away with decorum, although I will say, may it please the court, thank you for having me here today. On behalf of Governor Ron DeSantis, I want to congratulate both Judge Mike Kraynick and Diego Madrigal. First of all, the governor thanks the members of the Ninth Circuit Judicial Nominating Commission for their hard work vetting all of the candidates that applied for these 2 vacancies in what must have been a very difficult task when you consider the high character and legal acumen of the 2 judges that retired and they were tasked with replacing, that being Judges Lawton and Dawson. Appointing qualified, humble, and ethical people to courts throughout the state of Florida is a critically important obligation bestowed upon the governor. And particularly for Governor DeSantis, he immensely respects this responsibility. And it should surprise no one that as a constitutional scholar, the governor holds appointing judges with great revere. And as he announced at the Florida Bar Convention just 2 months ago, the governor has personally interviewed every single candidate he has appointed to the bench, from the 3 Florida Supreme Court justices to all of the circuit judges to the 10 county court vacancies. And in total, 28 individuals from the Panhandle to Miami-Dade. And today we're here to honor 2 of those appointees. Governor DeSantis has never wavered in what he looks for in a judicial candidate. He has but one criteria: the proper respect for the role of the judiciary. That being a commitment to uphold the Constitution and the laws of Florida as written, a commitment to respect the separation of powers. And he is committed to never being swayed by outside political pressures. He won't prioritize one gender, one race, or prior practice area. He just wants the best person for the job. And I'm happy to report today that his appointments show that commitment. Almost half of his appointees have been women. 40% of his appointees have been from a minority race. And their backgrounds range from prior judicial experience to prosecutors to bankruptcy attorneys to criminal defense attorneys. Governor DeSantis' appointment of you, Judge Madrigal, and you, Judge Kraynick, to the Ninth Circuit Court is evidence of his confidence in both of you, that you will serve the citizens of Orange and Osceola County, as well as all of the litigants that come into the Ninth Circuit with honor, distinction, and humility. Throughout their lives and careers, and during the JNC process, both have committed to defending the Constitution and strictly adhering to the rule of law. They both expressed a keen understanding of the proper roles they now take, committing to uphold the separation of powers, listen intently, treat all parties with respect, and rule fairly under the law. Now, right after the turn of the 19th century, our judicial system was faced with a pressing question, somewhat applicable to today's ceremony, while at the same time creating a pretty good introductory case for constitutional law. So I come here today with great pride to announce that we do not have the Marbury problem. Chief Justice Myers, I can confirm that the proper commission of both Judges Kraynick and Madrigal to the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circus. Again, it is my honor to be here on behalf of the governor to congratulate both of you on behalf of Ron DeSantis.
Thank you, Mr. Primrose. So it's my pleasure now to introduce the Orange County Clerk of Courts, the Honorable Tiffany Moore Russell. Clerk Russell was the first African American to be elected clerk in 2014 and has been a true partner to us in the Ninth Judicial Circuit, continually working to best serve the courts and the community that we live in. So if you would, please welcome her. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. The clerk's office works closely with the judiciary in and out of the courtroom, and here in Orange County, we value that relationship as we know that it is critical in serving the citizens of Orange County. So to the Honorable Michael Kraynick and the Honorable Diego Madrigal III, know that the clerk's office here is ready to stand with you and assist you in any way we can. And please know that you can contact my office or my staff should you have any issue that may arise in your courtroom or any issue that's outside of the courtroom. We have a tradition here in Orange County that we frame the commissions for each new judge. And so as a token of our appreciation for the work that you will do on the bench and your partnership with the clerk's office, these commissions will be delivered to your office tomorrow. We don't want you to have to worry about carrying it today, but we just wanted you to know that we congratulate you. We thank you for your service to the citizens of Orange County, and we at the clerk's office look forward to the great work you're going to do and how we'll work together. Congratulations.
So if this is your first investiture ceremony, I want to give you some context for what you're about to witness. The canons of ethics generally prohibit judges from accepting gifts so as to avoid even the appearance of some improper influence in favor of a gift giver. With one significant exception, that is the rule, and today is that exception. So what happens next can best be described as Christmas in August. Bar associations bearing gifts. So I'd like to welcome at this time our next speaker, Tony Sos. Mr. Sos is a personal injury attorney with the Dellicker Wilson Kind McKenna Raffier and Sos firm, and he serves as the president of the Orange County Bar Association, which I will personally say I think is the best bar association in the country. He's here on behalf of the Orange County Bar and many of our voluntary bar associations to honor our two newest judges. Mr. Sos?
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to stand up here this afternoon and present these gifts on behalf of various bar associations. So on behalf of the Orange County Bar, it's my privilege to represent the paperweight with OCBA logo. And I'll run through these as rapidly as I can. The American Board of Trial Advocates, Central Florida Chapter, presented by Christopher Hill, President. It's a marble desk wedge engraved with the judge's name and the motto, professionalism and civility. Anything less will not be tolerated. Christopher. Caribbean Bar Association, Central Florida Chapter, Wayne Golding, President, Caribbean Gift Basket. Central Florida Association for Women Lawyers, Jamie Bellotti Moses, President, Personalized Stationery. Central Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Benjamin Wurtzel, President, framed copy of the Bill of Rights. Central Florida Family Law American Inn of Court, Andrew Windle, President, monogrammed tumbler. Central Florida Gay and Lesbian Law Association, Barry Miller, President, Amazon Echo. Central Florida Trial Lawyers Association, Allison McMillan, President, framed Bill of Rights document personalized with engraved plate. Community Legal Services and Mid-Florida, Inc., Martha Pardo, Senior Manager of Public Interest and Pro Bono Services Liaison. Framed print of Lady Justice engraved with each judge's name. George C. Young, American Inn of Court. The Honorable Bob LeBlanc, President. The judges will be provided a plaque on behalf of the inn at their October meeting. Greater Orlando Asian American Bar Association, Leah Leitner, President, Zen Garden. Hispanic Bar Association of Central Florida, Andrea Ortiz, Young Lawyer, Chair. Domino set engraved with each judge's name. Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association, Kimberly Hosley, President. Engraved wooden photo box. Orlando chapter of the Christian Legal Society, Josh Grosshands, President. Book, Amazing Grace, William Wilberforce and the Heroic Campaign to End Slavery by Eric Metaxas. Osceola County Bar Association, Ebony Cobb, President-elect. History of Osceola County book, framed photograph of the historic Osceola County Courthouse. Paul C. Perkins, Bar Association, Roger Johnson, President. Sony Mini Digital Camera. Professional Committee, Robert Bohr, Chair. Wooden desk, nameplate that says, Professionalism demands courtesy. And last but certainly not least, our amazing young lawyer section of the Orange County Bar Association, C. Andrew Roy and Shannon Laurie, Investiture Chair, engraved wood clock with gold accents. Congratulations to all of the judges.
So when I recall my investiture and when all of those gifts were announced, we actually had a table over here with the gifts on it, and it just keeps coming, and it just keeps coming. And it really is just amazing the way that our voluntary bar associations are committed to the community and also committed to us in the judiciary. And we're grateful for that. Thank you, Tony, and thank you for all of you who participated in that. So the great Green Bay Packers football coach, Vince Lombardi, is quoted as saying that the dictionary is the only place that success comes before work. Work is the key to success, and hard work can help you accomplish anything. Michael Kraynick is described by his friends as an intense, young, smart lawyer, a devoted father and husband, and he has been successful in many things. But what preceded his success was an incredible work ethic instilled by his family and the job experiences that they exposed him to as a young man. I had the privilege of interviewing Judge Kraynick for an upcoming Ninth Circuit podcast, and I got some insight into the roots of his incredible work habits. There is no doubt that the citizens of the Ninth Judicial Circuit will be the beneficiaries of Judge Kraynick's hard work and diligence on the bench. Today, Judge Kraynick will be introduced by his father, John Anthony Kraynick. The oath of office will be administered by Judge Denise Beamer, and he will also be enrobed by Judge Beamer. Mr. Kraynick.
Well, that's a tough act to follow. Good afternoon, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, members of family. It's my pleasure to be here this afternoon, along with my wife, Betsy, and my youngest son, David, to talk a little bit about my oldest son. I hope that many of you have already Googled him, so you're probably aware of all of the things I'm about to say, but I'm going to dig a little deep this afternoon and see if we can provide you some insight or perhaps even embarrass him. Most of you probably know he was born in West Palm Beach, Florida. What you probably don't know is that he's a third-generation Floridian. His grandmother was born in Key West in 1914 after immigrating from Cuba. So he's about as deep south as you can get, but it's only due to geography and not necessarily to his drawl. Michael grew up in West Palm Beach, and he started playing Pop Warner football at a very, very young age. It became his passion. Now, Michael, he was a husky boy. So, sorry, son. Sorry. So, due to his size, he served on the defensive and offensive lines while playing that sport. And at one point, the coach said to him, "Would you like to snap the ball?" And that started his career as a center. So Michael spent all of his youth as a center, and when he went to high school, the coach naturally asked him, "Son, what position did you play?" "Center," he said. So guess who was the junior varsity and varsity center of his high school? Now, I have to tell you, Michael did not weigh as much in high school as he does today. So he was quite a small center for everyone that had the privilege of playing against him. But football taught Michael tenacity and a work ethic, and that if you want to earn something, you have to work hard to get it. And these lessons served Michael well when he moved on to college at Florida State University. Before I tell you about that, let me tell you about how Michael picked Florida State. So Michael went touring with his mother and toured all the universities in Florida, and then I got to do the finalists. So we went up to Tallahassee, and I was sitting on a bench one morning. It was cold, and I was drinking a cup of coffee. And they had sent Michael off to meet only with the students, no parents allowed. And all of a sudden, I see my son running back to me with this huge grin on his face. And he said, "Dad, I've decided where I want to go to school, right here." And I said, "Really, son? Why is that?" He said, "Do you know there are more girls here than guys?" And to this date, that's the best reason I've ever heard for anyone picking a university. So after 4 great years at Florida State, Michael graduated with dual degrees in finance and real estate. Thought he was going to follow me. I'm in the real estate business. But no, Michael decided he had not had enough education. So in his junior year, he told me, "Dad, I want to go to law school." And I said, "That's great, Michael." And I said to myself, I'm not retiring early. So Michael attended Berry Law School right here in Orlando. And while he was there, he became an advocate on the trial team. Michael fell in love with litigation. He served on the trial team through several national events that they won. And when Michael graduated Berry, he remained committed to the trial team. And to this day, Michael coaches many of their trial teams, and he also coordinates their entire program. Many of his students are right here in this courtroom. Michael graduated Berry Law School in 2007 and immediately took the bar exam. His mom and I held our breath for several weeks, and he passed on his first attempt, and we went, "Hooray!" because he was finally off the dole. So Michael went right to work in Winter Park at Godboll, Downing, and Bill, where he had served an internship during school. Michael spent 12 years at that firm before hearing the calling to become a judge. And some of his former partners are in the audience somewhere. I saw Gene earlier, and I personally want to thank them for all their support of Michael over the years. Michael met his lovely wife, Tina, at a post-wedding party of a friend. The story of their first meeting remains off the record. However, they were married in 2013, and after a few years, they started a family. And my wife and I are very proud grandparents of our two grandsons who are eating furiously as this proceedings continues. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, Michael Kraynick is a seasoned lawyer, a wonderful father, and a terrific son. In my humble opinion, Michael will serve the good people of this circuit with both impartiality, fairness, and humility. It is therefore my immense honor to present to you my son, the Honorable Michael Kraynick.
All right, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully perform
well and faithfully perform
the duties of Circuit Judge
the duties of Circuit Judge
of the Ninth Judicial Circuit
of the Ninth Judicial Circuit
of the state of Florida,
of the state of Florida,
of which I am now about to enter.
of which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I now present to you Judge Michael S. Kraynick.
Judge Madrigal said that I had kind of had to set the stage, and I'm a little worried. I've got a couple of tough acts to follow with my father's humor and Judge Myers' kind remarks. The first thing I want to say is thank you to each and every one of you that are here today.
Oh, I don't know. For those of you who know me, I'm really loud. So I'm not sure the microphone's necessary, but nonetheless, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out today and to support this very special day for myself and Judge Madrigal. I look out and I see a sea of people who have taken off times from their jobs in the courthouse, from their trials or their hearings that they may have, or from their families, or from their jobs, or from their law firms. And that awful requirement of billable hours, which for the record, I'm never, ever, ever going to miss ever again. I am both humbled and honored to be here. And I look out at this sea of people to see how lucky and how blessed I am to be in the position that I find myself today. I see my lovely family, I see my friends, I see my colleagues, I see members of the judiciary that I'm about to begin my career with, fellow colleagues, and a huge cadre of my law students from Barry University. And I want to thank you individually for taking time out to come be here today, because each and every one of you has had an impact on me to put me on the road that I am here today, and I truly thank you here for coming. As my father said, I'm a third-generation Floridian. I grew up in West Palm Beach. Yes, I was a Husky child. Not much has changed. The Friday night guides for how much I weighed say I weighed $185. That was a lie. I was the starting varsity center for 2 years, and I maybe weighed 165 pounds soaking wet. Maybe. So I guess I enjoyed getting the garbage beat out of me on every Friday night. But nonetheless, I am very blessed and excited to begin this next adventure in my life and be able to give back to the citizens of the state of Florida and the members of the public and the members of the bar here in both Orange and Osceola counties on a scale far greater than I had ever imagined. But for me to be in this position, I couldn't be here without certain people to thank. And the first person to thank you, Judge Jewett, is my wife, who I've been advised is to the Jewett rule, and I know you and I don't have that relationship yet, but we'll get there. So I apologize in advance for taking advantage of you. Hun, your unwavering optimism is the perfect parallel to my pessimistic realism. It's the perfect dichotomy for the way that I look at life. And you balance me out perfectly. You're an amazing mother, an amazing wife. You have encouraged, loved, pushed, carried me part of the way so far. I could not have done this without you, without my side, and I really appreciate it. To say I thank you is not enough. To say I love you is not enough. But know that you complete me, and I could not do this without you. To my sons, John Robert and Mark Michael, if you didn't listen to Daddy before, Daddy's a judge now, so you really have to listen. Daddy loves you both very much and hopes that he provides a great example for you guys for growing up and maybe or maybe not going down the path of the legal career. That's still out in the jury to decide, no pun intended. To my parents, John and Betsy, your lives have been the gold standard for examples of honesty, integrity, humility, hard work, and dedication to family and duty. You have been married to each other for 37 years, and the commitment that you've shown to each other, Oh boy, I can't do math either. 41, which is like 37, it's like 2000 and 2010. It's the same thing. I thank you both for the level of commitment that you've shown to my brother, your grandchildren, me, and the love and support that you've given from day one has been immeasurable, and I thank you. To my brother David, your unbridled confidence and constant ability to make fun of me and keep me grounded will always keep me in check, and I thank you for that. My brother and I are completely different. Aside from the looks, I'm clearly better looking and have more hair, but he has an immaculate beard. I'm not a risk taker. My brother is very much the risk taker. But and I thank you for always, more often than not, bluntly, telling me how things are and always pushing me to follow my dreams. I thank you, and I love you. I have a special thanks to Michael Damaso and Furman Lopez. Michael Damaso and Furman Lopez were my coaches when I was an advocate on the Berry trial team, and they saw something in me that I don't know that if I knew existed. And they were able to teach me not only to be a zealous, passionate advocate, but also to know and completely understand the evidence code. And without those countless hours of them spending after their days of work at their law practices, coming back to the law school and giving more and more and more to me and several other students similarly situated alike to me, I would not be in the position I am now, and I thank you for that. Professor Mitchell Frank, I'm not sure if you are here. If you are here, hello. There you are. Hello, sir. I want to thank you for entrusting me to run your program, and it is your program because you created it 20 years ago. And in 2012, I distinctly remember the conversation we had at your favorite place of, what's the breakfast joint? Panera's, there by the Colonial Mall. And I thank you for the words that you told me then are still etched in my brain, that you could think of no one else to run your program. And I thank you for trusting me then and trusting me now to continue to guide and lead our students to be successful advocates in their careers. I also want to say thank you to my compatriot, Professor Mark Summers. He could not be here today, but him and I have a phenomenal relationship running the program together, and I thank him immensely. I also want to thank my former law partners, Gene Godbold, Grant Downing, John Bill, and Travis Rentz. It was a phenomenal 12 years spent with you guys. The lessons that I have learned and what you have taught me and what we have had a lot of fun with during our lunches, I truly appreciate, and I will miss them, but I thank you for instilling the right way to practice law. Specifically, I want to say thank you to John Bill. John took me under his wing when I had just graduated from law school after clerking at Godbold Downing for 2 years, and he taught me the right way to practice law, that there is no substitute for hard work, that there's no end to the research. You have to keep grinding, you have to keep going to find what the right answers are, and to never take a shortcut. I thank you, John, for the time and energy and effort that you put into me. I could not have been here without the friends that I've had throughout the years that have had a major impact on my life. From law school, beginning the application process, through the application process, and now becoming a judge, I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to specifically thank the Honorable Judge Meredith Sasso, Judge Beamer, and Judge Starr for your constant counsel as I was going through the application process. I appreciate your unconditional support and how you guys helped me through that. I cannot say thank you enough. To John Beamer, Michael Sasso, Michael Cornelius Sasso, Allison Ember, Mark Peltzman, Brian Driscoll, Tom Bryan, who has also a phenomenal beard, I may add, Eric Jontz, Lauren Bruschka, Celia Ruiz, Jamie Sermiglio, David Harrigan, Michael Cahill, Christina Figueroa, and the McPeak clan. I thank you for your love and support as this adventure of life that we have gone through together. I thank you so much, and I am honored to call you my friends. For the members of the Ninth Circuit Judicial Nomination Committee, I thank you so much for your full faith, credit, and belief in me, that you took the time to vet the candidates that were before you, and you gave me the opportunity to go to Tallahassee. You knew what our circuit needed. You knew what was needed to fill the breach, and I thank each and every one of you for giving me that opportunity to go to Tallahassee and now fill that breach in the Unified Family Court in Osceola County. I want to specifically thank also Governor DeSantis and his staff, Joe Jaco, Nicholas Primrose, Colleen Ernst, and James Uthmeyer for a couple of things. First, putting me through the hardest interview of my entire life and making me reconsider everything I knew about the law 20 minutes after the interview ended, and also giving me the opportunity to serve the public and to uphold the law of the state of Florida. I want to thank you for that, and specifically Governor DeSantis for giving me the privilege and opportunity to follow the laws, the Constitution, and make sure that they are complied with from this day forth to the end of my days. I also want to thank this circuit. I had the opportunity to spend some time with you guys last week at the Judicial Conference, and it was a lot of fun getting to know each and every one of you. I think there is great fellowship, and to steal a word from our Chief Judge, fellowship, which is not a real word, I have looked it up, for welcoming both myself and Judge Madrigal. You've opened yourselves up with open arms into your community, and I greatly appreciate it. I also want to say thank you to the judges who took time out of their schedules to get myself and Judge Madrigal ready for the rigors that is the Unified Family Court. Judge Higbee, Judge Blackwell, Judge Traver, Judge Calderon, Judge Schaefer, Judge Peter Rodriguez, Judge O'Kane, thank you so much for allowing us to shadow you and teach us the right way and what we need to be looking for. I greatly appreciate it. And I know I speak on behalf of Judge Madrigal when I say that. And lastly, I want to thank Judge Madrigal as well, because I can tell you that when I walked through security in the Capitol and to see him sitting on the bench on the first floor was the greatest thing that I could ever see, because his perseverance and hard work has paid off. His annual trips to Tallahassee did not go unrewarded. Fine, seasonal. Seasonal trips to Tallahassee. And I think the bear hug that I gave him when I saw him was way more than he was expected. I'm humbled and honored to share the stage with you today, sir, and I look forward to both of us growing in our judicial careers together and to having a lot of fun with each other in Osceola County. Lastly, to my trial team kids, yes, you guys are still my kids. Thank you for your hard work, dedication, and belief in the program. I think that you can see that there is no substitute for hard work, and that hard work is what's going to separate you from the rest of the pack, not necessarily the piece of paper from the law school that you graduated from. And I will leave you, my students, with this. Never let anyone tell you you're too young to accomplish anything, because a shark, a baby shark, is still a shark. I'll end with this. Other than my father, one of my idols is General George Patton. And he had a quote about fate. And his quote was, "A man must know his destiny. If he does not recognize it, then he is lost. By this I mean once, twice, or at the very most 3 times, fate will reach out and tap a man on the shoulder. If he has the imagination, he will turn around, and fate will point out to him what fork in the road he should take. If he has the guts, he will take it. Well, fate did way more than tap me gently on the shoulder. Fate picked me up, turned me around, and put me on a road dedicated to the law, dedicated to service, and I have the guts to take that road. I stand before you ready, willing, able, and eager to undertake the tremendous challenges that laid themselves before me, confident and committed to serve the people of the state of Florida and uphold the laws of the state of Florida for many, many years to come. Thank you.
I shared with you in the introduction of Judge Kraynick the fact that I had the opportunity to participate in a podcast with him. If you believe in these two new judges that we have here, I want to encourage you to follow the Ninth Circuit on Facebook. You'll have a chance to follow some of the things that they get to do in their careers and that we do here in the Ninth Judicial Circuit, and it's a great way to stay in touch and in contact with us. On the backside of your program, you'll even see some information on how to accomplish that. In that same podcast, I actually had both of these fellows together. I was struck by Judge Diego Madrigal's attitude of humility. He has a tremendous sense of gratitude for the opportunity that he's been given to serve this community as a circuit judge. And although some in this world might paint humility as a weakness, it is not. Rather, humility is a genuine strength, particularly for a judge, where that humility is found in an awareness of one's position and role in respect of power, and in a willingness to accept the burdens of responsibility that flow from that position. We here in the Ninth Circuit look forward to serving together with Judge Madrigal, and we know that the litigants and the lawyers in this community will be well served by that humble heart that he has. Today, Judge Madrigal will be introduced by the Honorable J. Hasbrook Jacobs of the 13th Judicial Circuit Court of Missouri. The oath of office will be administered by Judge Patricia Doherty, and Judge Madrigal will be enrobed by Isabel Madrigal and Martina McQuire. Judge? Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Myers. I'm Brooke Jacobs. I'm a circuit judge in the state of Missouri, and I appreciate Judge Myers extending me full faith and credit here. Diego, you should know that it is rather unusual to wear the robe outside of your own courthouse, so don't think that's a normal thing. I'm a close friend of Diego's and have been for a very long time. We met at the University of Florida, and we were young lawyers here in Orlando together. My grandfather, Frederick Pfeiffer, swore him into the bench, or into the bar, I should say. And, I would say that Diego has a very unique background. He's a first-generation American, grew up in New York City, lived for a time in the country of Venezuela, and then moved with his family to Citrus County, Florida, where he went to high school. And he was graduated #1 in his class, valedictorian. Went on to the University of Florida and University of Florida School of Law. And while there, he was employed by the athletic department and tutored the athletes. And I've often thought now that he's a judge, if he has a difficult pro se litigant, which does happen from time to time, he can employ some of the tools that he used with some of the athletes as far as patience and courtesy. And after law school, Diego practiced civil trial law in Orlando and was in court on a regular basis until his appointment to the bench. As successful as Diego's professional life has been, his #1 priority has always been his family. His mother and his sister and her family are here with us today, and I know that they mean everything to Diego. And sadly, Diego's father passed away this past year, but he was a devout Catholic, and I know that he's looking down on Diego with immense pride. At this time, more than ever, there's perhaps undue mistrust about our judicial system and system of justice. And I think it's more important than ever that judges inspire confidence in our system. And I think Judge Madrigal will do that. I think he'll be the type of judge who lawyers enjoy practicing in front of. And I think based on his intellect and his background and his personality, that litigants will leave his courtroom knowing that they had a fair hearing. And I think that's something Diego will do for the people of the Ninth Circuit for years to come. Congratulations, Diego.
solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
perform the duties of circuit judge
perform the duties of circuit judge
of the Ninth Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida,
of the Ninth Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen.
The zipper is tricky. Judge Myers told me to get the snaps. And here's another tip. Take the speech out before you put the robe on. Mike, I told you to do a bad speech.
Oh, I missed that.
Not a good
You said do a
one.
speech.
Oh, okay. All right. So first of all, thank you everyone for coming. My family, my friends, my fellow judges, members of the bar, members of the public, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you all taking time out of your schedules to be here with me to share in this moment. I've lived an absolute blessed life. I mean, I've lived the best life, and I know that is not at my hands, that comes from above. And the first blessing I ever received was the best blessing I ever received, and that's being born into the family I was born into. My mother, my father, my sister, my cousins who are here, my cousins who are watching online, my cousins in Peru, hola. If I speak more Spanish, people will make fun of my accent, which is impeccable, I assure you. I speak perfect Spanish. But my parents and my sister fostered this maybe irrational belief that I could accomplish anything I wanted to, as long as I worked hard and prayed about it and put integrity first. And that was a lesson I've always tried to carry with me, so thank you to them for that. My family that I've picked up along the way, which is my niece, my nephew, my brother-in-law, Rex, thank you. Going through this, going through this process has been much more rewarding having those two little ones with you. And she did a great job saying the Pledge of Allegiance. She's been practicing, so good job, Isabel. So, you heard about my educational background. I won't bother you with that. But I do want to point out, I appreciate Judge Howard being here. We're from the same place. We're from Citrus County, and Citrus County was a place that embraced me, and you know, people were just nice there. And they say hello, they say goodbye, they say how are you doing, and that was something that has stuck with me. The small town friendliness, I've always tried to keep that with me. So it means a lot that you're here today. Thank you. After graduating, I came to Orlando, and I was embraced by the Orlando legal community. And Patty Doherty answered an email I sent her, and it was August of 2007. She answered an email and said, "Sure, come in, we want to hire you." And that changed my life. So thank you for answering that email. I appreciate it. And she doesn't answer my text messages or emails now, but No, she does. You do. Okay. So, specifically, my people at Wooten Honeywell who helped me, Butch Wooten, Dan Honeywell, Orman Kimbrough, Patty Doherty, Bruce Gibson, Ed Normand, Mike DeMasso. Mike DeMasso might be the most popular guy in this whole getting thank you from both people. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. So thank you. They taught me the right way to practice. They taught me that working hard and keeping your priorities. I remember Butch Wooten told me, you put God first, family second, your job third. And I've always remembered that, and I've always tried to do that. And I'll try to continue to do that. As I began trying to reach this goal, there was people, in addition to my family, who were very supportive. My friends, I'll try to thank each of you individually at a later time. But I did want to point out or thank specifically the people who served as references for me on my seasonal trip to Tallahassee. Patty Doherty, Ed Normand, Rand Wallace, Brett Renton, who I saw in the back, Brooke Jacobs, Victoria Luna, Raju Vias, Nick Ozma, Christian Waugh, David Margolis, Josh Mize, Kevin Meredith, Marla Bolander, Trent Swan, Aaron Hines, Louis Van Alstine, Tiffany. You all wrote letters on my behalf or did something for me to push me to achieve this. I will never forget it, and I will never be able to thank you enough. Other people who went out of their way to help me on this, Ann Hughes, T. Case, and Alex Goebel, my godson Mike Brown, Matt Dean, Freddie Nguyen, Michael Mayberry, Anupam Rina Patel, and Rob Goodell, Skip Fowler, Tom Feeney. You all helped me along the way, and I'll never forget it. To the Ninth Circuit Judicial Nominating Commission, you guys repeatedly put your faith in me. And I know each time I went back, I thanked you, but it meant more to me than I can tell you that you guys sent me up each time I applied. Matt Klein, Molly Nardella in the back, Chris Carmody, Tara Tedrow, Josh Grosshand, I saw you come in late, but I'll forgive you. Tad Yates, Tim Schulte, Glenn Gilzine, Jeff Aaron, Bill Vose. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you for putting your faith in me, and I hope to make you proud. To Nick Primrose and Joe Jaco. Thank you for running this process with integrity, running the process in a way that put the law first and that trying to find the best people. I like to think that our nominating commission only gave you good choices. And so I'm especially humbled that you all chose me this time because you only had good choices to pick from. And so to be chosen, I thank you. To Governor DeSantis, or as we call him in the Kraynick and Madrigal home, the greatest, smartest, wisest governor in the history of the universe. Thank you. I will put the law first. I will apply the law as written. I won't tell you what I think it should be. I will make you proud, and I hope you can look back at this appointment in some decades and be happy with it, because I intend on upholding what you expected of me when chosen. To my law firm that is here, the PennDOS Law Firm, when I started this journey, thank you all for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for everything I've learned from you. Lou, Joel, Mike, Trent. Trent, come, yeah, there's Trent. You guys are all, Will Corzo, you guys always encouraged me as I was doing this, and I can't thank you enough. Robert Saunders and Jeremy Hill as well. I don't think dreams can always come without regret. And so there's two things I thought I was going to regret. The first is that for 12 years, I've been using the same photograph from when I first came to town as my bio picture on the website. I was skinnier, I was better looking, I was more tan, and I've had to abandon that picture, unfortunately. So that is my first regret, and my only regret. The second regret is a little more personal. We lost my father the day after I put in my application for this spot. And I wanted something. I want my dad with me. I can't believe he's in. I almost abandoned it, but the people I mentioned before encouraged me. And when I was going to Tallahassee to see Nick and Joe and the rest of the gang, I said, oh man, I wanted to bring something to my dad's. I forgot it. And I was going through security at the Capitol, and they said, hey, there's something in your pocket. And so I reached in and I pulled it out, and it was the prayer card from his funeral. And I didn't realize I had it with me. Don't judge my dry cleaning frequency, please. But he's always with me, and I know everybody in here, the words I would tell you is that you are never alone. There's always somebody with you. You may not see them, you may not realize it, but you have family, you have friends, you have people who care about you. And any great accomplishment, and I do consider this a great accomplishment, is not done alone. And so I frankly appreciate everyone coming, everyone being here, and I realize that I didn't reach this alone. Every one of you played a role. So thank you. And if I forgot to thank you, just text me and I'll apologize. All right. Thank you.
Well, I want to congratulate our two newest judges on what I think may be the very most thorough job of thanking people that I have ever heard. And for the two of you in this room that didn't get thanked in some way, I will invite you up front here. We'll make sure that happens. I have a few closing remarks, but first I'd like to invite to the platform the very Reverend Miguel Gonzalez, the rector at the St. James Catholic Cathedral, to perform our benediction. Great, thank you. And I'll save my closing remarks for after that. Reverend, thank you.
Place ourselves in God's presence as we pray. Caring and loving Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to come together. As we lift up in prayer these our brothers who have accepted the responsibility to uphold the law and to serve our community. Bless their families for the support they extend to them. And may they both continue to grow in their desire to live with compassion and reach out in service by serving in the court system. We ask all this in your name, for you live and reign forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. As I prepared for this investiture, I actually took the opportunity to sit and watch the video of my own investiture. And while watching that, I remembered some of the feelings of that day. There was the joy of celebration with family, with friends, with people that were important in my life. I remembered the honor and the humility of being celebrated and recognized by others. And I distinctly remember also the weight of taking a solemn oath to support, to protect, and to defend the law. It is my sincere hope today that our newest colleagues, Judge Kraynick and Judge Madrigal, that you will remember this day in the same way. I hope that you've enjoyed the celebration, that you feel honored and humbled by the love and support of your friends, by the love and support of your family, and by that of your colleagues. And I hope also that you have a sense of appreciation for the weight of the public service that you have entered. So as we bring this time to a close, would you join me just one last time in honoring our two newest judges here in the Ninth Judicial Circuit, the Honorable Michael S. Kraynick and the Honorable Diego M. Madrigal III. Just remain standing for a moment. Judge Madrigal and Judge Kraynick have made arrangements for some food and a time of reception. We invite you to remain and stay for that and to enjoy the celebration of this accomplishment for them. This ceremonial session of the Ninth Judicial Circuit Court is hereby adjourned. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I know that's a bit of a trick. You do it all to Oh, I'm glad.